So a lot of people say that The Descent is like a masterpiece film, but I personally disagree. Let me explain why. So after a traumatic event that happens to the main character Sarah, a year later, when she's still grieving with the event that happened to her, her friends decide to take her out on like a cave trip, only for them to end up being lost in the cave and end up being hunted by these creepy ass predators. I thought the characters in this film were really great. Everything felt natural, the dialogue felt natural. It makes the movie a lot more effective because now you're kind of rooting for the characters to survive and get out of the caves. I feel like you're naturally easily attached to the main character Sarah based on what she went through at the start of the movie. I'm not going to talk about that though because I feel like it's kind of a spoiler if you haven't seen it. You kind of hope that she survives the most out of everyone in the caves. There was also another character, I couldn't remember her name, but it was like some Irish woman. She was hilarious, fam. So hilarious. And for a movie that came out in 2005, it looks pretty good. Like I don't think there's anything about the movie visually that looks off-putting or like bad. Especially the fact that they were in the cave most of the time. And the only thing they use is like those flares, those red flares, and also like the torch on their helmet. The cameraman did a good job at making sure that we kind of got to see all the important things. Sometimes in movies you don't really get that satisfaction. In dark environments it can be a bit hard to kind of see what you're supposed to be looking at. It definitely does get tense when they realize that they're trapped in the cave. There's like scenes where they're trying to just get from one obstacle to the next. They don't really have the right equipment to kind of help them get through A to B because they're trying to save or preserve the equipment in order to survive longer. It makes it more tense because obviously as a viewer you're thinking, okay then, there must be something down in these caves if this is supposed to be a horror movie. It's pitch black, something's going down. Eventually the characters find out that there's like these creepy ass like Gollum, Lord of the Rings looking creatures. You know, when I first watched the movie I was kind of like, oh damn, like what the hell was that? There was a scene where like it was pitch dark and then one of the characters have like their torch and in a specific shot you see something move. So I do give props for the film for having tense moments and using the camera well to kind of make things more tense, especially when you first see the creature. Where it gets bad for me is when, not necessarily bad, but then when you start to see the creatures more terrorizing the, you know, the characters in the cave, I just don't find them like scary. They look like idiots to me. They're just not like scary visually to me. From the distant shots they do look very creepy, but then when you see them close up they just kind of like But one thing I kind of respect is that they use practical effects for the creatures, which I thought was amazing. They genuinely did look like they were actual creatures, and I can really respect when people can not rely too much on like CGI, because nowadays it's just CGI. The design, the way they look, the costume, perfect. I thought the gore was really good in this movie. There was a lot of scenes where the main characters used, you know, that hatchet that they use, bang, 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 yanking on those creatures, all the gore and all the mess, all the chaos, all the violence. My only problem with that is the blood looks like tomato ketchup to me. When I see blood that looks like ketchup or that looks kind of fake, it kind of just takes me out the movie sometimes. I feel like when blood looks visually fake on screen, they use a lot more of it in horror movies, whereas when blood on like, you know, horror movies look really real, they use less of it, which I kind of noticed. Or maybe I'm tripping, I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. Before we carry on, if you're into the horror genre or other movie genres, and subscribe, like the video, and yeah man, let's carry on man. I didn't have an issue of the movie taking place primarily in a cave throughout the movie. Like I thought it was like a good place for like a film like this. I just felt because a core thing about this film were the creatures, it just made the movie a bit bland and boring to me, because it was just a bunch of characters slicing a bunch of Lord of the Rings Gollum looking ass Dobby characters from Harry Potter. I thought the pacing in this movie was really good. Since the dialogue was so natural, it didn't feel like you were watching a movie. It felt like you were just like with friends along with the journey. It didn't feel like a get to A to B. You felt like you were part of that friend group. This is not a bad movie. I just feel like it is a bit overrated. Like there's nothing about this movie that I feel like stands out really. Like the creatures were supposed to be the main thing about this movie. I just didn't find them to be terrifying. It kind of took away the tension when I saw them more. Yeah, it's a good decent movie. I definitely would recommend it to people who haven't seen it because I feel like a lot of people would like it. But anyways, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, comment down below and let me know what you thought about this movie, if you hated it or if you loved it, or maybe if you disagree with what I said man. I would like to know in a bit man.